Okay, that was stupid. Don't do that ever again.
This will do for now. Feels way more original this way.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I had to open the passenger door because it's too damn hot for me and I gotta get this intro in. So today we're gonna be working on the VR4. We're gonna be installing both a boost gauge and some MSD wires that a fellow 3000 GT owner actually sent me. He sent it to me completely free because he knew the issues that I was having. And honestly, you 3000 GT guys are something else because I never experienced this type of stuff with my Evo guys or DSM guys, so it's a little bit different. I'm actually gonna go ahead and post this Instagram right here in the corner for you guys because not a lot of guys do this, and honestly, these things aren't cheap either. So huge shout out to Ben for sending these over. Besides that, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to do a boost gauge install, and I do plan on running the 3 gauges on the dash, so we'll be making a DIY video for you guys as well, probably when I have all 3 set up. So I have the boost, air fuel ratio gauge, and the water temp gauge that are going to go on the dash. So once I have all that set up, we'll go ahead and do that. As far as right now, I do have to head over to Mace Performance because I am actually currently in the process of moving. Expect the next video to be more of like a garage tour because man, I've been waiting for this moment for so long, and now that it's finally here, if you see the house right now, it's a complete mess. I'm currently packing everything up and I'm getting ready to take the cars over to their new location. So I will be making a separate video for you guys in regards to the new garage. I do plan on making it a little bit more of a studio for podcasting and stuff like that, so it should be pretty sick. Let's head over to Mace Performance. Let's start working on the car, see what happens, set the boost levels, and drink some water because it's freaking hot. Property. It has this little overlay which I could pretty much add because my fenders also go inwards, so I'm also a big fan of the Advent GT wheels here. Obviously I would go with the 9 bumper, but this thing is proper. I guess the guy tracks it, so he came in for some I think different brake pads. I need this cage for the Evo. I know I used to have the full cage, but honestly all I really need is a half cage. Damn, even the back seats are deleted. RKTI titanium exhaust. Damn, this is money right here. Damn, that's loud. I do want to go ahead and focus on doing the wires first. We are going to have to go ahead and remove the plenum. The front one should be pretty easy, but the back ones, you do need access to the rear valve cover. They are a little bit thicker than these NGK ones, and I don't know if these are good or not or how long they've been on there, but I'd much rather be safe than sorry. Another question for my 3000 GT guys. Those of you guys that have actually converted to both speed density and E85, what are the things that I require? Because I already have the upgraded Walbro 255. Based on what I read on the forums, apparently you could actually upgrade to some stock Evo injectors, and that should suffice for fuel. Obviously, it's best to go bigger injectors and bigger fuel pump, especially if you want to push more power, but I don't really care as far as right now because it's still in the stock turbos. If I was to upgrade, obviously I would probably get bigger injectors and fuel pump, but if I was to keep it simple with the stock turbos, will the stock Evo injectors work? Besides that, as far as speed density, I know I would have to get the speed density intakes to get rid of the MAF. Will I need the IAT sensor, or is there anything specific that I would require to convert over to speed density? So I tried searching on the forums. There's not really too many clear answers, and everything's from like 2008. So if we could get an updated answer to this, leave it down in the comments. And if you're trying to convert over to speed density or 85, check the comments below for anyone that's done it already or knows how to do the conversion. So I'm actually considering going E85 and put this thing on the dyno and see what it pushes out with the stock turbos and full bolt-ons. And then later down the line we could actually upgrade turbos and everything else, but we're taking things slow. The MSD wires are finally on. The way I did it is I basically started taking these off one by one, matching the length. Two in the back were the same size, but I ended up just kind of configuring its way through. So I do have this little tree thing that holds them in place. Now we're ready to put the plenum back on. And in case you've never done this and you're trying to do your wires, the way you take this thing off is it's going to be two nuts on each side. I think 3 bolts up here. You have to take off the throttle cable right there. You have to take off the vacuum hose that's attached to the brake booster on this side, and you do have to take off the piping to take off the throttle body.
That sounds sick.
And that's pretty much it. The front ones are super easy. The only thing that's difficult is taking off the plenum to access the rear ones. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a basic explanation. Of course, you have your gauge, which then if you turn around, you have a little entry point there, which is what you hook up this portion of the harness to. There's 2 different sides that it comes out. So one, you have the wiring that you're gonna have to take care of. I did take this out my Eclipse, so it's used obviously, but you have 4 wires. You can't really see the black one. Okay, so the black one's going to be ground, the red one's going to be power, and then these are basically your dimmers. So once you hook these up to either your headlights, basically the gauge is going to light up even more, or it's going to fade as far as brightness if you're in a dark environment or a very sunny environment. Some people don't really hook those up. I probably won't. I just want it to be just one setting at all times. So all we have to worry about is the power wire and the ground wire. This other side goes all the way into the sensor, which AEM also gives you, which you then hook up to a vacuum line, which you then have to feed through the firewall all the way out here. You basically have to find some sort of vacuum source from the intake manifold to then be able to read the boost being produced by the turbos. So we're gonna go ahead and feed the vacuum. I did have this hardwire power cable go through the firewall right next to the fuel filter down there. So if you have one, use that one. I know there's another opening on that side, not too sure where, but this is what I used when I was hardwiring my fuel pump. There is this plastic cover up top that you might have to take off. I already kind of have access to it, so I kind of just got a zip tie, as you guys can see here, and I basically fed it through, and then I'm gonna go ahead and attach the vacuum line on the other end and then basically lead it back in here. So let's see if it works. No, use tape instead. Oh, I got it. So we have it hooked up to the sensor, and now we just hook it up to the factory T outside, and that's our vacuum source. Okay, so we have the gauge here, we already have the vacuum source. Now we have to focus on the wiring, and like I said, I'm most likely going to end up putting the boost gauge here, the water temp gauge over here, and the air fuel ratio gauge right here. So we are going to be missing the oil, it's not the oil temp, it's the oil pressure gauge, but this one was never working. I know it's very important for the VR4 guys, but that's going to be my choice. I do have to order the little adapter thingy, and I know to be able to put the gauges on here, you either remove the dash, and someone told me you could do it through this way here. So harness for radio,
harness for the radio. It's pretty common. It's just a jumper cable to the OEM setup.
So someone already touched the harness, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're trying to find a power wire from the radio and a ground, correct?
Exactly. That's a problem because it turned on
without any ignition on, huh? So that means it's getting direct power.
Yeah. So we tapped into the wrong
power wire. So now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go ahead and put a voltmeter on this red wire. If it's set to 0 and once we turn the key to the ignition and it goes straight to 12, we know that's the correct wire. So I guess that was a mistake. It's not actually the yellow one. So we're gonna test the red one and see if that's the actual power wire we need to plug in.
Yeah, it's getting straight voltage.
Straight voltage on the yellow.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Nothing. Turn the ignition.
Now we got 12.
That's it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the red wire.
It's the red wire.
Boom. Yep. Not too sure why the gas gauge light is on, but it's been at a quarter ever since I left home this morning.
A few moments later.
Well, she literally just died. I'm gonna push it out of the way and oh man. So this guy here just helped me push it. I was literally stranded right there. I had two nice guys come out and help me. So the car actually ended up running out of gas. Luckily, two guys helped me push that thing right through the intersection, and man, I guess I have to overlook the gas gauge and all that stuff now. Out here to get some nice little cinematic shots at the end, but I was not expecting this thing to leave me stranded. That's actually the first time that ever happens, so I do have to make sure that everything is properly seated in the back with the fuel pump. But that was not a good experience, and unfortunately I was not able to film it, but it was quite embarrassing going right through that intersection with everyone staring at me just pushing the car. Luckily two guys came out to help me, but the AEM boost gauge is installed, the MSD wires are installed. The car is pulling really good at 9 psi. Now the OEM gauge seems to be going way above the 14 on there, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna go ahead and base my trust on the AEM one. Hopefully I'm not over boosting, but based on those readings I can still actually raise the boost, and this thing does pull a little bit harder than before. We're still due for a smoke test. We're still due for the I'm actually planning on getting a cutout, which if you don't know what that is, it makes your car basically like an open downpipe. I have that on my Evo, and you're able to close it and open it to your liking. So if you're in a quiet neighborhood, you close the cutout, and if it's open, it sounds freaking crazy. You hear the turbo spool like crazy, and a lot less restriction, because the catalytic converter right now is the most restrictive part on the exhaust as of right now. I plan on doing that when we do the AFR gauge as well, and I do have to order the water temp gauge as well. But right now I'm gonna go home, start packing, because I am moving just like I told you guys. I'm super nervous / excited. I'll go ahead and make a separate video on that. It's more personal, but it's pretty crazy. Changes are coming, and I'm excited for what's to come. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any suggestions, comments, anything you guys want to let me know, write it down in the comments below. If not, I'll just let you guys go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week.